Pulling focus is a crucial skill that, in my opinion, all filmmakers, videographers, content creators need to have. You need to have some mastery of the skill because pulling focus is probably the most crucial thing ever when it comes to shooting video. You can have the most amazing film ever, but if it's all out of focus, no one's gonna see it. Could you imagine watching a Marvel film and like 50% of it is just completely out of focus? It would suck. Now, pulling focus is all about practice. I'm gonna be looking at the monitor a lot this video because I'm wirelessly pulling focus with my Tilta Nucleus Nano kit, and you know, the monitor's up there, so I just need to keep an eye on what I'm doing. Now, pulling focus is a skill that takes time and practice, but there's no just quick right way to do it. It honestly is all about practice. I'm not going to pretend I'm the best in the world, but that's because it's not the main focus of what I do. I have many hats, so you know, but there are people in the filmmaking industry whose job, their sole job, is just pulling focus. They're called first ACs. Now, they do a little bit more than just pulling focus. They do things like set up the camera, maybe they'll you know, hit record sometimes as well. It depends on the set and the shoot and all that stuff. But one key thing that they do always do, unless the camera operator or DOP, director of photography, is doing it, is they will pull focus. Now, the reason they do it instead of the person who's actually holding the camera, it's simply because it takes away a huge important task away from someone else, so they can then focus on doing things like framing the shot, making sure that you know, the frame rate is correct and the settings are correct or whatever. They can double check, but the main thing is to focus on the framing, because the framing, just like the focus, is very important. Wow, hang on. There we go, I'm in focus now. But why use a follow focus system at all? Now, first of all, there's a couple different types of follow focus systems that you guys need to know. So there is a wireless follow focus system, which is what I'm using now for my Pocket 4K, and then there's a manual follow focus system, and all it is one is wireless, and one has to physically be connected to the lens and be touching it in order to turn the gears on the lens. That's it. It's the only difference. Now, diving into why you want to use a follow focus system, the first and one of the most important things is that it takes your hands off the lens. So most beginners and people who are just doing run and gun stuff, you may pull focus by racking focus with the lens itself. So you put your hand on the lens, twist the focus ring, pulling focus. Now, while this is fine, right? Nothing wrong with it per se. The one issue that does come up from pulling focus this way is that you will be touching the lens, and this can cause shake or wobble or unwanted movement, especially if you're trying to be really steady, but you need to pull focus. You pulling focus, and I can guarantee at least 95% of the time, you'll probably add an unwanted movement that you didn't really foresee coming, but it's because you had to pull focus, and you know, that causes little movements in the lens. So by not being on the lens, as you can see, now ignore the focus breathing because that's a different topic, but you know, because I'm not touching the lens itself, I'm not causing any wobble. Now, this is better with a wireless follow focus system compared to a manual one. Still just as good, but I feel like there is, you know, that time you could go like, you know, like that. You know, you could accidentally just tap it a little bit too hard. But these are great if you're a one-man band kind of deal. Wireless follow focus systems are great for like multiple team members. Yeah, at least 2 people. These are great. Now, sometimes you can't touch the lens. If you're using a gimbal, for example, am I in focus? Because that's the main focus of this video. If you're using a gimbal, you're not really going to be able to pull focus at all manually. Going to have to use a wireless follow focus system. Now, you can do this with or without a second person to help you out. So typically they would be called a first AC in the filmmaking world. You can do this yourself. Easily, you can slap this onto the side of your gimbal and pull focus wirelessly. The only thing is you can't use a manual follow focus system because again, that would mean, you know, moving your arm and reaching for the lens or for the camera body, which in this instance with a gimbal, especially a two-handed gimbal, we can't do. Okay, and now the other key thing as well, and I actually kind of said this point already, but it's in my notes, so I'm gonna say it, is that it takes a lot of pressure off of you as the, you know, lead camera operator, director of photography, whatever you're doing. If you have someone else taking care of the focus, because the focus is so important, right? If you mess up the focus, the entire shot is ruined. You have to nail it every single time you do a shot. So taking that pressure off you means you can focus on everything else. Is the actor, actress, person, car, whatever, doing exactly what I want it to be doing in this shot? Is my framing correct? Am I stepping correctly if you're moving with a gimbal? Things like that. There's so many other things to be thinking about on top of focus. And if you don't have to think about the focus being perfect, then you don't have to, like, you don't get as stressed, and you can do a better job overall as a videographer. And now another thing that, it's one of those things, right, that it sucks, but it's true. It's how you look. So having a follow focus system, even a manual one, I moved it for the shot, did you notice? Or a wireless one, you know, especially the wireless ones, they make you look a lot more professional. You know, if you're showing up and you're pulling focus by using the lens, there's nothing wrong with it. You and I both know we can still create amazing shots with a very basic FX3 and nothing attached to it, just the lens and the camera body. You can create amazing content. But sometimes clients, they want to look at you and just have that immediate assurance that, yep, they hired the right person because they look professional. And it's a shame, because like it shouldn't be about how you look. It should be about your work and what you've made and what you can make and such. But you know, it would be foolish of me to say that these don't play a big part into looking professional, especially if you have someone else pulling your focus for you. Then it's just like you've got a team around you, which is something I personally make sure I try to have with almost all my client shoots. If their budget can cover it and I can pay the people I want to bring along, then I always bring a team. And every single time I brought a team, they're always like, yep, we're really happy with the work you've done. This is just after seeing some shots. We haven't even done the edit yet. This is on the day of the shoot. So, you know, it happens, it works. There's that. It's a shame, but it's true. A wireless follow focus system, whilst they are excellent, they can be a little bit pricey, especially compared to the manual focus follow focus systems. What I'm going to do is we're going to go over the manual follow focus system 3 times fast. Manual follow focus system, manual follow focus system, manual follow focus system. It was the last one I messed up on. That wasn't bad though. Maybe 5 times fast would be a mess. The manual follow focus system, we're gonna go through like the benefits and like differences and such, and why you like. I personally would always recommend a wireless one, but if it's out of your budget, a manual one is still a great tool to have. So let's dive into the manual one. Okay, so let's go through this beautiful setup right here. Now, the way this works is very straightforward. There's a gear here, and that connects to the gear on your lens. And then there's the twisty bit here, and you twist. And that is basically it. You know, it'll come, you know, obviously you put it onto the rails, so it's like this. And it does have other tiny little screws here, so you can adjust how like, oh, my hair light just died. Bugger. So it does, yeah, so it has like, you can adjust to like how much it bends by or whatever. But anyway, slide onto some rails, line it up nicely, make sure it's in the gears, that's really important. Tighten it up. And boom, you have a follow focus system. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is the whole like touching the lens thing that we want to avoid, right? So the key thing is just to already have your hand here, right? Always have your hand here, ready to go. And you know what, if let's just take this off the tripod real quick, yeah? And now, if I just have it so that this is kind of supporting the weight a bit, my left hand on the focus wheel, supporting the weight, and then I'm holding the top handle, and then I'm already just ready to pull focus, you know? It's not a big deal, I can maneuver it, I can move the camera around, and it's like, oh, I need to, whoa, pull focus, and oh, whoa, pull focus. And it's just, like, it's just not that bad. So, you know, it works, and that's the main thing. It works, it's good. And a couple key benefits with how low can I go, how close can I go? Sorry, I just realized I was out of focus, and there we go. And a couple, you know, of the benefits of even a manual follow focus is it still removes that shake from touching the lens. And this is, I need to change the angle. So, you know, it still does the main benefits. There's no shake from touching the lens to pull focus because you're already here and it pulls focus for you very smoothly, and you have way smoother control over pulling focus. That's another key aspect, is that when we're on the lens, it's very all over the place with our hands because there's no consistency in the movement. And if you run out of space twisting like this, you have to re-grip it, move the lens some more, mess up your placement, and maybe you pull focus too fast again or too slow or whatever. But here it's constant. Like, look, I can just keep going really smoothly, like really simply. It's just so straightforward. And on top of that, I've actually taken it off my one, but most manual most manual follow focus systems do come with these little stopper points, so you can set an in and an out point for your scene if an actor is going to take a step forward and you want to set it so that when they are here, they're in focus, and they take a step forward and then they're in focus still. So it makes it easier for you. You can just go like scoop and it will stop you, so you can't turn it anymore, so you never miss your focus. All great benefits, even with a manual follow focus system. Still a great choice. Links below, Amazon affiliate links, thank you, for some really good, affordable solutions from manual follow focus system. Now, let's dive into the wireless ones and why I prefer them and their benefits as well. Now, one of the key things, and I've said this already, but we'll go over it again, to why I prefer the wireless follow focus systems is the fact that they are wireless. This opens up a lot more possibilities with what you can do during your shoot. Now, you've already seen my tilted Nucleus Nano setup here, which I'm using for the Pocket 4K, as I've said, just to keep myself in focus. Now, the other system I have, which I had before this, is the PD Movie, what is it called? The Remote Air Live Air 2 kit. This is a bit more on the professional end of things because you have a whole larger remote and a larger motor system. So I'm just going to quickly grab that. And here we go. This is the Motor Air with the Remote Air. Now you can buy multiple of these. You know, you can buy 3 because if you have a lens that has a zoom, aperture, and iris gear, you can control all 3 with 3 motors and 1 remote, which is pretty incredible. Am I in focus? I think so. So going back to my points, the key thing is that it's wireless, and it being wireless means that you can pull focus from anywhere. For my music video shoots, typically I have my first AC Bilal pulling focus. Usually he's next to me because we've had a bit of issues with like latency in my monitors and such going from the wireless system I have. But in terms of pulling focus, he can be theoretically, if you have the correct wireless monitoring setup going, he can be at the other end of the room. He could be in a different room. Maybe not a different room, but he could be at the end of the room, and I can pulling focus, pulling it perfectly with 0 delay, nailing it every single time, and I'll be at the other side of the room doing my thing. That is why I prefer a wireless follow focus system. Now, yes, they do also look a lot more professional. That is a key factor. Not a key factor, but that is a factor in it. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's not a factor. It does play a role in it. But the main thing, absolutely 100% main thing, is that it is wireless, so I can have someone pulling focus and they don't have to be next to me. If you have a manual follow focus system, I forgot to say this earlier, you can have someone pulling focus for you, but they have to be next to you. So it means you're doing your thing and they're literally like... Now there are extension systems where basically there's something like a little pipe that goes into this, comes out a little bit, so they can twist that. They don't have to literally be like breathing down your neck, exhaling and you're inhaling and then you're exhaling and they're inhaling, your exhale all nasty, but it's nowhere near as convenient as a wireless follow focus system. For a second I thought this was going to change that. Let me get the right one. So yeah, there you have it, a wireless follow focus system. This is me doing it, by the way. Pocket 4K has 0 autofocus, hence thanks for putting up with me maybe being in focus sometimes. So there you have it. This is why I prefer... See, this just doesn't look as good of a backdrop. So yeah, that's it. This is why I'd recommend a follow focus system to you guys, regardless if it's manual or wireless. I mean, if you can afford wireless, go for it because it is definitely better. It has a lot more pros. There's no cons to the manual one apart from it's not wireless. So if you can afford a wireless one, go for it. I would recommend the tilted Nucleus Nano or the PD Movie Live Air 2 kit. That's really, really good as well. But like I said before, there will be some manual follow focus system links in the description below for you guys. And I'll put links for this as well, because this is a really, really good system as well. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you found it useful. And if you want to see another video I made all about the Titan Base, that is an amazing battery for your pocket cinema 4K, 6K, 6K Pro cameras, check out the card over there, or like the little thing at the end of the video. See you in the next one. Peace.